and we're here to discuss quantum dimensional Reiki. Now, inside of this, there is an experiment that will take place once we have participants. Now, until these participants come in, this is just lectures of understanding the quantum dimensional Reiki. Now, a lot of people like to take a name and like to create what they think is the meaning of something and put it in a good category, a bad category, or that this does not have to do with anything. But in reality, we start to realize that every year there is something that is labeled new in every so many years. If we look at Encyclopedia Britannica, years ago you used to have the encyclopedias. If you were to pull one of those encyclopedias now and do a report on it, they would say that most of the time you're wrong, and that's not the truth now. But in the beginning, that was the only thing that people used. So we have to understand that's why we need the quantum. The world, all that is, in which it is, in which that it is, and therefore it is that. Now, it is that is the meaning of what? So in quantum dimensional Reiki, we start to go by this understanding. And a lot of people don't understand, like, well, why is there a black screen? Well, what do you see in space? If you were to be in space, what would it look like? And on top of that, would they be asking you about God, your politics? Would it matter how much money you have? Well, with everyone that's on the line right now, why are you on this line? Ask yourself, why am I listening to this? Because there is something that you need. Now, that need that you need is categorized. Will you take it further? It is up to you to take it further in the quantum dimension of the reality in which the rays of light are hitting you in your consciousness for you to comprehend and find out the truth of who you really are. Well, that can cause some people to go mad in reality. Because sometimes there's too many things for you to handle. This scenario, that scenario, what if, this, that, I don't have time, I have time, that's not for me, I tried this. No. You're not doing quantum dimensional Reiki. That does not make sense. It is an experience. Your consciousness will shift by saying shift. Now, if you add a number, 1 through 9, and I add the number 8, and I say shift, clear, delete, dimensions whole, parts whole, front, back, up, down, side, around, clear, you're going to change. The problem is that you are not quiet enough to understand this. You have to see yourself doing something. A lot of people say, well, I read a book to relax. That's not making you relax. You're saying that it's making you relax, but it's not. You're working. So you're not in the silence. You're not in the dimension in which you need to be to call back the parts of you that are whole. Now, if someone has a question or they want to say, well, this is what I'm going through, we can help anyone at any point in time to clear that static inside of you, to awaken to a fuller understanding. Now, the sessions that we do are really, hello there, hello. The sessions that we are here to do are to really let you understand. Understand what? So someone just said hi. So we say hi back. And then they said, okay. So now, hi, okay. Ask yourself, the person that said hi, okay, where are you? Now think of a number 1 through 9. Just think of it. Now take that number and ask yourself, well, let me go into that number and let me see what I remember. So say you said a number 6, let's just say, and you said number 6. So say you said that number and you try to see, well, 6 can clarify the understanding of your age. It can clarify every 6 years. It can clarify 6 episodes. It can clarify 6 emotions. It can understand that there are 6 different issues within inside the self. So now when you take that 6, you don't want to say, well, what are those emotions? Because then you're going to guilt trip yourself. You just clear. Now, when you clear, you take that and you say to yourself, can I convert 6 into 1? Someone's going to say, well, what does that mean? Well, can you convert 6 into 1? Well, you can go 6 times, and that can turn to 1. But the understanding is bringing it down to a level below 1, which is 0, which is neutral. And when we get there, we can look at where is that person and what is going on inside their life. So, to the person that answered all that, is very in your emotional body, there's a lot of forgiveness that needs to be forgiven. Now, someone would say that's not true. Well, our system can pinpoint everything in the quantum. So from there, we can take it to the eating, to the habits, to the family, to the work. And we ask ourselves, what do we want to do with this? Well, you want to clear. Now, that's a form of a session. Now, there's different types of sessions for clarity, for ridding emotions, for clearing emotions, for abuse, physically fit, eating, health, so forth and so on, that go into like 369,000 laws to infinity. So when you take these, you have to really understand the intuition. So, like right now, there's someone on this line and they faded off, but there was someone on the line that had a lot of emotions, fighting. Now, a lot of people do fight with other people, but that fighting causes a static. And sometimes that goes to 5, which is inside the throat, and you can take it down to 5 years of age. Then you can take it down to every 5 years of someone's life. Then you can take it down to 5 meals that don't reside inside the body, that constantly keep being eaten. And this sounds a little funny, but it's more working the intuitive consciousness to understand the clarity inside of you. So the quantum dimensional Reiki brings you so in tune with the person, because there's no difference between you and that person. It's on the quantum level. So there's nothing for you to change. It's just allowing that person to feel the frequency that they are not aware of, because they are too much involved with everything else that is going on. And we have to look at one of the biggest things. I'm just going to feel, and it shows relationships. So most people are looking for this thing called a relationship, but they never experience a real relation, because most of their parents are emotional parents. And the emotional parents are where they're too immature and they act out, and you are happy inside your own relation, because your relations beforehand were experienced by people that were emotionally immature. Now that seems odd to people. And some people can make good money, but that does not mean that they're emotionally mature. So inside quantum dimensional Reiki, one of the things that we do is ask ourselves, how do I allow? No, there's no how do I allow. I just allow. I must order it. I must command it. I must understand it. And I must understand the contract that I am making with someone. So every person that you are experiencing a conversation with, you are allowing some sort of contract to flow in a frequency. Now, that contract that flows in the frequency flows into a dimension of a ray of light in which you decide, I like the person, I don't like the person, I think this person's this way, that way, I think that they're this, that, the other thing. Well, you could think all you want. The point of the matter, if they are, what does that have to do with you? And on top of that, the more you think about it, the more you make contracts that you are unaware of. And those contracts that you do make become contracts that really create almost like a black magic or whatever you want to call it on yourself, because you are saying, because of this person, this is how I'm feeling, and they did this to me, did that to me, blah, 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 A through Z. So in the quantum, well, it's very easy, because you would understand that whatever happens, are you giving it power or are you not giving it power? Does it affect you or does it have no effect at all? See, the two ways that it is. Now, from there is where all your contracts come in and where you allow entrance to your understanding through your consciousness of where you create this good and bad and the feelings and all these other things. And when you look at that, you have to understand that that is why in the world we have so many issues. And if you are not heavy, let's just say, and you go to eat towards gaining weight, you don't think about it, there's nothing there. So somehow you're strong and you don't gain weight. Now, sometimes you listen to people where Some people want you to be vegetarian. Some people don't want you to be vegetarian. People are fighting this. This is the way you should eat. You shouldn't eat this way. This is bad. That's bad. No, that is an identity that you allow to do it, whether you do it or not, or you agree with it or not. The more you focus on someone else and the more you're fighting something else, you roll into another